My fellow citizens, this broadcast tonight marks the beginning of the mobilization of the whole nation for a great undertaking to provide security for those of our citizens and their families who, through no fault of their own, face unemployment and privation during the coming winter.
Greetings and salutations. Today, I'm in West Branch, Iowa. This is the birthplace of President Herbert Hoover, and where both his presidential library and museum and his final resting place are located. Hoover's presidency spanned from 1929 through 1933. Much of what I found interesting about Hoover, however, was life before his time in the highest office. Growing up in Iowa, Hoover's parents passed away when he was the tender age of 11. A quote that was attributed to him is, "A boy has two jobs. One is just being a boy. The other is growing up to be a man." I suspect the passing of his parents was a formative event, as it cut his childhood drastically short. Hoover met his wife Lou Henry at Stanford during his senior year. An interesting fact that I enjoyed learning concerned their time abroad while they lived in China. While there, the Boxer Rebellion began. Lou refused to leave the country. She was known to carry supplies to the soldiers on her bicycle, carrying a revolver the entire time. Fittingly, there was a portion of the museum dedicated to her achievements. Herbert got his start in public service by administering the distribution of some 2 million tons of food to over 9 million war victims during World War I. After the war, he was appointed to head of the U.S. Food Administration. One of the more interesting parts of his presidency, I found, was the bonus army marching on Washington. During the Great Depression, a large group of World War I vets marched on Washington, D.C. to demand their bonus pay early. The Army, such as it was, had a lengthy stay in the city, making campsites in the downtown area. President Hoover ordered Major General MacArthur to clear out the occupying protesters. He ordered the federal troops to be unarmed and escort the marchers back to their camps across the river. It was not surprising that MacArthur took matters into his own hands and violently cleared the campsites afterwards. Here is the layout of Herbert's office after he left presidency.
With his writing, his travels, and what he called his unending public...
He had a daily routine of waking up early and spending much of the morning and afternoon reading and writing. Late in the afternoon, he would have a cocktail hour where he would enjoy the pause between the errors and trials of the day and hopes of the night. He was in bed by 8 unless there was a baseball game on television.
In the living room depicted here, where he would work up to 10 hours.
Outside the museum, I walked a prairie trail, just under 1.5 miles. I was surprised by how hilly the landscape was. I always thought of flatland when Iowa came to mind. The peaceful route eventually took me by Mr. and Mrs. Hoover's graves. Being of Quaker faith, the site was simple marble with just their names. Sometimes there is such beauty in the simplistic. Less can be more. I love presidential history, and one of my goals is to see something, a birthplace, gravesite, or library from each of our presidents. I love visiting West Branch and learning more about the 31st president. The museum was quaint and peaceful. The hike afterwards was grounding, and taking a moment to reflect on such interesting lives while at their gravesites was well worth it. Please take a reflective moment to like and subscribe if you'd like more material here. And again, thank you for coming.